Welcome to the Nindia Podcast. I'm your lovely host, Anaya Fori, and each week I bring to you an episode of different forms of investing. On this week's, guess what I have sitting with me? My Uncle Collins. So, Uncle Collins.
What's up?
Tell us about yourself.
I'm a father. I have two boys, Nathaniel and Josiah. I'm married, Auntie Shiki, right? I'm a real estate investor. Also a mortgage agent. You know what a mortgage agent is?
No.
No? We'll talk about that, don't worry. I'm a mortgage agent, real estate investor. I love food, right? Food is my favorite. And I love to actually teach people. I love to actually help people bring out the best in themselves. And I'm always willing to give advice, and that's kind of who I am.
Thank you, Uncle Collins, for saying food is important, and you like food. Same right here.
Foodies unite. I love it.
Okay, when you challenged me to start my business, what made you believe in me?
Good question. To be honest, it started as if it was just a summer project, right? And so I know with this whole COVID-19, I know being at home, being stuck inside can be a little bit boring, right? So when I was talking to your mom, I'm like, hey, let's give you a challenge to actually do something productive, right? And I knew from a long time ago that you were very curious because your mom is kind of curious. So I knew that you would be. So that's why I kind of challenged you. And I really wanted to see what you'd be able to come up with. And to be honest, you really surprised me, right? I wasn't expecting a full-blown presentation. You did a really good poster board, and it was really cool. I really liked that. So I think I really just wanted to challenge you. And I also wanted you to learn, because I feel like when you're young and you learn these things, it'll better help you. So by the time you get to your mom's age and my age, you'll be even better to educate your children and even your friends and your family, right? So I want to basically speed up the process. So with my parents, when they came here, they only had limited resources and limited information, and they were able to pass on those things to me, but it came a little bit later through no fault of their own. But now that I'm getting older, I'm also able to learn more, and I'm also willing to pass it along to the next generation that's coming up so that we keep continuing to grow and learn together, and every generation gets better and better and better. So now it's your turn.
You said you would invest if you like my business. Now, what does investment mean to you, and what were you trying to teach me about investment since I kept asking about it?
Whoa, slow down on the questions, okay? One at a time. So
it's the whole thing together.
The whole thing together?
Yes.
Okay, the whole thing together. So the first question was, I would invest into your business. What type of investments was I talking about? Okay, so investing in your business for me means investing time. So oftentimes, usually the most important thing in your business is time. So you have to put time into preparing whatever your business is, whether it's a product or if it's a service you're providing. You need to be able to be dedicated to it. So my investment to you was definitely my time, setting time aside to basically help you source your product, to help you give advice on how to quickly grow your business, how to give time on sourcing suppliers, give time on other things and other business related things, right? So number one, definitely time. Number two is financially as well. Again, I didn't know what to expect in terms of your business. So it was really cool, and I was really taken aback when you actually came up with this idea, and it's a really good idea. And I encourage everyone, make sure you go buy a box or two. But investing in this case means two things. Investing into you, because I believe in you. When the minute you did your presentation to me, I think it was a really good sign that you're something that you're passionate about. So it's again investing in you and investing in enough in you that you can now grow your business. And then it's also making sure that you now have a means for you to grow in your life, and now take the earnings you make from this business and then start other businesses, and that's how you continue to grow. You know, I've always been taught that there are two ways to build generational wealth. Do you know what generational wealth is?
No.
Okay, so generational wealth is basically wealth that's passed down from generation to generation. So mommy's wealth is now, if she has generational wealth, will be passed down to you, and then you'll be able to pass it down to your kids, and then your kids will be able to pass it down to their kids. So it's generational, right? Now, there are two ways to achieve this. The first way is through entrepreneurship, so starting a business. And the second way is through real estate, right? So the house that mommy has for you, you can pass that along to your children. A business that you're gonna start, once you grow it and it's successful, you can now pass that along to your children as well, and they can continue on with it, right? So investing in you is another form of building generational wealth for you, right?
And what were you trying to teach me about investment, since I kept asking about it?
I really wanted to teach you that it's something that's really important, and it's something that you don't need to be a certain age to start investing. So I think it's something that is very important, something that you should take seriously, something that you can build upon. And so in many, many years later, you'll look back and you'll be able to provide for your family in the future, and your children and your friends, educate your friends. Because if I teach you something, you're now going to teach your friends, and hopefully the viewers and listeners, something as well. And they'll be able to go out and start their own businesses. And then the word spreads, right? And it makes everybody a better person, right?
What will be your biggest investment to date?
My biggest investment to date would be investing in my education. So I went to school for electromechanical engineering. Through that education that I got, I was able to land my career job. And through my career job, I was able to make money. And through that money, I was able to invest in other things like real estate, invest in helping my family, and invest in basically anything else that I wanted to do. So the biggest investment to date would definitely be my education.
What do you wish you knew about investment that you knew now?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I learned, that I know now, is that investing is long-term. So it doesn't happen overnight. So I shouldn't really think about getting rich quick. You know, somebody explained to me that you have to look at it as planting a seed, right? So when you plant a seed, you don't go back tomorrow and say, is it a tree yet? You don't do that, right? You know it takes time. You have to water it, you have to give it sunlight, you have to protect it, you have to cut the weeds from around it, right? So you have to nurture that seed, right? And then it takes time. But over a long period of time, that seed starts to grow and grow and grow and grow until it's this massive tree, right? So that's what we learn about investing, right? Investing takes time. You can't treat it as a short-term project. You have to think of it long-term, right? And as long as you keep taking care of that investment, and you water it, and you cut the weeds, and you plant it, and you take care of that investment, it will grow over the long term, right? So I think definitely looking long term in terms of my investments. I wish I knew that earlier, and I wish I was like you. Like, you're so cool. Like, how old are you now?
8.
8 years old. What was I doing? You didn't even ask me what I was doing at 8 years old. You know what I was doing at 8 years old? I was playing video games. But you're here on a podcast, on a video shoot, on a photo shoot. You have a business already. You're a lot farther away than most 8-year-olds, right? Which is pretty cool, right? So imagine what you're gonna be doing when you're 18 in 10 years time. Wow, right? It's a long time from now, right? But it's actually not that long. It's gonna come by really quickly, right? So I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work.
What advice will you give for a child like myself learning different forms of investment?
The advice I would give to a child like you that would be learning different forms of investment would be to be a sponge. You know what a sponge is? You know what a sponge is?
Washing the dishes?
Yeah, same sponge like washing the dishes. So a sponge absorbs a lot of water, right? So be like a sponge, absorb a lot of information, take that information and act on that information, and it'll be really good and help you in the long run.
Okay, so thank you for coming.
No problem.
I have a little something for you. So this is Colette Anaya edition,
Nice.
painted, and you know why I call it Colette?
Why do you call it Colette?
Because you call me Colette.
That's very true.
So thank you for coming. This is for you.
Thank
and
you.
do you have anything else to say?
I want to say, first of all, thank you. Secondly, do you know why I call you Colette?
No.
So, long story short, your mom was in a little situation with your Aunt Flint, and I saved them by giving them a ride. So I told her that I wanted her to name you Colette after me, because you can't be named Collins. She said no and named you Anaya. I think Anaya is a better name anyways. But for me, I call you Colette because you're technically kind of named after me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're always gonna be my Colette. You understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. But as long as you know.
Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for the box. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I want to say that when you're watching this or listening to this, many, many, many years from now, that myself, your mom, your aunties, your uncles are very proud of you. We wish you the best. We ask that you continue to go down this path. I think you're going to do very, very well. And I think you're doing a very good thing educating people your age and even people my age and older that are going to learn something new, right? And they're going to be able to take that information and actually better themselves, right? And I think you probably don't realize it yet, but you're actually impacting a lot of people's lives, right? So now if somebody's going to watch this and they're going to say, well, whoa, I learned something new about investing, and then they go out and start investing, you've now impacted that person's life. If that person has children, they're gonna tell their children, and now you've impacted that child, right? So you could, through this medium, impact many, many, many lives, and that's a very powerful thing, right? So go home, think about that, right? And be proud of yourself. And we're always here to support you. Cool? All right.
Thank you so much for the comment. And thank you for watching the Nindia podcast. This is all I have for you. Come back for more. Bye.